have one rule on my train, and that's it. The rest of everything I have is called a warning. Get up and move around. I encourage you. Take your pictures. Just hold on. Don't touch any of the cacti growing outside the car. I haven't seen one of them yet that mine ain't getting every one of you will. See, we are in this Sonoran living desert. Now, unless you know different, everything here is waiting to stick you, sting you, bite you, and maybe kill you. Keep that in mind. Also, I'm watching my air pressure here. I gotta make sure it's about right. As you're out here, even though it's not going to be a terrible hot day, it's only going to be 83. 83 with humidity where you're from is miserable. Here, because our humidity is going to be about 4 to 8% today, stay hydrated. Don't wait to get thirsty. Especially, you got it, brother, especially our younger guests. They get dehydrated more quickly than us, and you wait till they get so dehydrated that they have to have fluids, meaning IVs. We don't want to go there. And the sun's shining. I don't have to remind you, put sunscreen on. You'll sunburn even in January here in about 15-20 minutes. Just keep the sunscreen on. I can see one back there, that gray-haired blonde girl. You're going to burn bad. You got sunscreen, right? Somehow find it for you, I'll guarantee you. With that being said, normally, they call me Billy Redhorse, the crazy Indian driving the train, but I had so many young adults and students today, for them I'm now Billy the Minion. So, you know what a minion is, right, sir? Despicable Me, minion. I look like a minion, don't I? Except I don't have that one big eye here. Well, give me a minute or two, we'll get underway. I know that lady says 20-minute train rides. I run the train, guys. I got a lot I want to share with you, and this train ride could be longer than that. I do want to appreciate you waiting for me and being patient. So, with that being said, we're going to get underway in just a second. For the day, for 12 hours of work. But it took an hour to go down and an hour to come up. So imagine a 14-hour day. And you got paid $3. Now, the guy that had the most fun, he had the best job. He was a rich gold miner. He made $4 a day. He got paid to play with the dynamite. Man, there is no telling you what it's like to make dynamite go off in a closed atmosphere. So I said, how would you know? Well, apart from being a redneck from Southern Illinois, I worked 20 years in an underground coal mine. I had the best job in the mine. They gave me top wages to play with electricity and dynamite in the dark. You ever see the old Frankenstein movies with that thing they call the Jacob's Ladder? They used to build them underground and wait for people to walk by and just turn it on and scare the living heck out of them. This guy's not impressed with anything I'm saying so far. That's better. I can see a smile. If I come back and there's anybody disappointed, you tag me and let me know. By the way, if you have an aspirin right about now, that's when you need to take it. I'm serious. When I get back, I'm going to give you so much information, you're going to have a headache. And if I start talking too fast, kind of wave your hand up and do this to me, and I'll slow down. Now, you guys in the caboose, you hear me okay, right? Sometimes you have to check that speaker to make sure it's right. People go, well, did you talk pretty fast? I'm kind of talking while I build air pressure. You see, I am one of those, this is as slow as I talk in my life. I'm one of those, do you know what a Kentucky Colonel is? I'm one. Nowhere but here. The one in front of the flagpole, see, I call that the baby. That's 90 years old. How would I know? It's not how tall they are. They're 65 to 70 before they can grow their first arm. That has 2 arms. The one behind the rock over there, you're just going to start to see, that's saguaro. This is in the neighborhood of 150 years plus. Now, saguaros, when I say native here, they are native only here, nowhere else. You ever see an old TV show or movie and they're in the background? Well, found somewhere in the Sonoran living desert. There's no doubt about that. And for those of you that aren't near here, our green trees with the green bark, that is called our Palo Verde. Spanish, it's our state tree. Spanish, it means stick of green. By the way, if anybody has an allergy right about now, there's about one thing here that gives you an allergy. That Palo Verde tree. Now, if that one back there was 150, how old do you think that is? See, that saguaro's well over 250 years old. They have arms on them for a reason. They're counterbalance. Keeps them from falling down this spring. The white blossom that's on that is our state flower of Arizona. The little cactus that looks like Mickey Mouse, it gets its name from the fruit. It's called prickly pear. You won't see the needles, you'll sure feel them for weeks. You use welding gloves or kitchen tongs to harvest the fruit. When we do it, we cook it down and make this delicious syrup. Great for cooking, baking, jelly, jam. My buddy Cowboy Dan does something very unique. He makes something called a prickly pear margarita. They're sweet and salty, and for the youngsters, they get the prickly pear lemonade. And that fuzzy cactus there, that is our jumping cactus. No, the cholla does not jump at all. It doesn't move even in a strong wind. But all them little needles, those are barbed fishing hooks. Yeah, you barely brush it, you're going to get a bunch in you, and they use steel pliers to pull them out. Oh, it's painful. Everybody does the same thing. They squeal, they scream, but they all jump, and that's really why they call that our jumping cactus. Oh, there's all kinds of wives' tales, but again, they're just ghost stories. Now this over here, this is the western face of the Superstition Mountain. That western face alone is the most photographed natural phenomenon in all of the Arizona Territory except the Grand Canyon. That mountain's 20 million years old. Today it's a federal preserve. It covers 160,000 acres, 25 miles long and 13 miles wide. Now as a federal preserve, there's no mining, prospecting, or digging ever permitted. Ever. There's only two ways in. You can walk or hike, you can get your pair of boots to play cowboy, ride a horse or mule. There are no motorized vehicles ever permitted anywhere in or on that 160,000 acres. Now, more than 5,000 years ago, that mountain had a totally different name. See, that was home to all the Apache Indians, and only the elders were allowed up in the upper elevations. They were sacred. The elders went up there on something called a vision quest. That's not where they smoked a peace pipe. Vision quest is where they start fasting. And on the 5th or 6th day, without food or water in this high, dry climate, they reached their objective. They were seeing things. But on the 7th or 8th day, without a cloud in the sky, they heard thunder in the distance. They knew it was the underworld gods of the mountains talking to them. They named it Thunder God Mountain. To this day, the Apache still consider that their sacred Thunder God Mountain. You probably only heard it called Superstition. Well, it got its name, to be exact, in 1865. That's when Fort McDowell, the Army post, was established. People don't realize that. There's all kinds of wives' tales, more ghost stories, but that Army post had a very difficult time here until they met the Pima Indians, P-I-M-A. Benevolent group of Indians, unlike the Apache of the day. They took that Army post under their wing. The first thing they did, they said, we're going to teach your farmers how to raise food here. For after all, those Pimas were the farmers for the Native Americans. And they said, then we're going to scout for you, but we're not going near that sacred Thunder God Mountain. We're Indians, there's Apaches up there, they scare us to death. Not all the ghosts and the other frightening things up there, we're not going there, neither should you. So back in 1865, Fort McDowell thought that Army post was, they really did. The Army post really thought the Pima Indians were just superstitious. It's been called superstition ever since then. Unless you're an Apache, still there's sacred Thunder God Mountain. Young lady, can you hear me okay yet? You said you have a problem. You're doing okay? Great, thank you. Now, we had 15 gold mines here. That's what created Goldfield in 1893. We had 1,500 people here. It may not sound like much, but in 1890, the census for all of Phoenix, just barely over 1,600. This grew so rapidly, they were sure this was going to be the next state capital. But By 1910, these gold mines had run out of gold, and this really was a ghost town. By 1983, we had 2 structures left in town. Little building next to the ice cream parlor and that wooden water tank up there. Everything you see today is the passion, the love, and the dedication of just one family. So after more than 35 years out here, every day but Sunday, still working, building, and adding to gold field. Now, you think of it as a tourist destination, but like this morning, I know better. It is one of their passions, like mine's education. I see around 300 students a week during the school year. It's kind of unusual. I had some today, but I guess it was a great time with the Thanksgiving holiday for them. But I had 120 this morning. Education's a real passion of ours. Speaking of education, people even from Arizona don't realize that we're really known as the copper state. We still have some of the largest copper mines in the world. A bit of turquoise, a bit of silver, but everybody has gold fever. Gold rush, ice cold gold TV shows. But here's a fact. We only have 2 active gold mines left in all of the Arizona territory. We have more gem mines than that. Now, there's one in Wickenburg in that ditch down there. That's called the Wasp Mine. The only original structure is that wooden structure right there. You know, that's known as a head frame. That's over 100 years old. Its sole purpose is to lower that bucket 50 feet to the bottom of the mine and bring that ore out using that gearbox on the ground. You saw, we drove under the one for the Mammoth. This is only for a mine 50 foot deep. This mine is active today along with Wickenburg because of gold miners from Canada. They're the utmost authority when it comes to gold mining technology and equipment. They created that shallow ditch to take their equipment into the mine and to mine the gold that was deliberately left behind the first time. Yeah, that's right. You see, back then, 2 ounces of gold per ton, they only made a $20 profit. Anything less than that wasn't worth mining. But with their equipment today, their technology, 1/4 of an ounce of gold per ton is profitable. The greatest gold producer of all time is the Great Mammoth Mine. That's just beyond that yellow building there. And like I said, we've removed everything. We took the head frame back there to town. That's that big erector set the tires over the town. But even we covered the shaft up for safety reasons. For back then, in 4 years, around 1900, that mine chased a very, very rich vein of gold straight down over 1,000 feet, mining by hand. Now, as they went down, they passed through what we call cross cuts of gold, veins of gold, 8 and 9 inches per ton, 8, 9 ounces per ton. Now, that was, today, that kind of mine would be unbelievable. They were so greedy they never touched it. We'll come back and get it when we have to. That very rich vein of gold they were chasing straight down was averaging 15 ounces of gold per ton, and in just 4 years, it made 33,400 ounces of gold. That'd be $50 billion today. 10 times more than the greatest gold miner in the gold rush did last year, Parker Snobble. 2 complete mines, millions of dollars worth of equipment. He produced $5 billion. This is all by hand. But they were greedy. You see, chasing that rich vein of gold, blasting on their way down with no cares at all at 1,058 feet. They blasted into the vast underground aquifer that flows under this valley. That underground lake flooded that mine and remains flooded and closed today. No one's come up with a profitable solution to get through all the water to get to the gold left behind. Someday, but it hadn't been yet. Now these 3 engines here, those are known as electric mills. People ask about them. Well, prior to 1900, think about it, they only move anything around a mine, man-fired mill farm. But in 1900, they started generating DC electricity with steam. Now they got it, that spring-loaded pole on the cabin. Now that ran down the roof of the mine on a copper cable. The rails were the ground, and that's what made them work. Very unusual. Those mine trains are standard gauge. All 3 of them came out of the Bisbee turquoise mine. Standard gauge, 4 feet, 8.5 inches inside the rail. Significant. That's the standard for all commercial and passenger trains, United States, Europe, and Canada. They owe their existence to a Roman chariot. A Roman chariot so rutted up the mountain paths of Europe, no the wheeled vehicle could pass without wheel damage. I said, their mine train shows this. This train started its life in 1962 as an underground diesel train. It's narrow gauge, 3 feet inside the rail. We use that for a reason. If we had a standard gauge, see all those sharp turns we made coming around here, we wouldn't be able to do them. We wanted the people that designed this wanted to be able to show you more of our town, more views that you couldn't get, better pictures, better photo opportunities, I'll say, for you guys. That used to be our old mine shack, and now it's our cowboy shack. On Saturday and Sunday, they do gunfights out here every hour on the hour during the season. And we moved that farm, now they're building a shelter over the back. And they come out here on Saturday night, fire up the fire and bake some steaks, play a fiddle and dance a little bit. Yeah, that's a gold mine entrance right there. 3 feet wide, 4 feet tall. Could you imagine crawling into that, driving a steel into hard quartz with a sledgehammer, blasting out the ore, and if you're lucky you had enough to pay the bill for the week, maybe have a decent meal on Saturday night. Then the most colorful, light-about gold mine of all time, Lost Dutchman. Wasn't lost, Jacob knew where it was, and he wasn't Dutch. And Jacob was born in Germany. They called him Dutch and dumb. Think how smart he was. Every time they asked him about his gold mine, he'd just point up there and laugh. Remember all them angry Apaches, Sacred Mountain? And many men went looking, very few came back. He had all kinds of tales and stuff like that, but Jacob never put a claim on his mine. Couldn't find it if you didn't know where it was. If he put a claim on it, then someone would have known where it was and they'd have told about it. They'd have stolen it. But Jacob never had a claim, so he never left town the same way twice. 2 days wandered around the desert to make sure hydrators, gold thieves, weren't following him. Now 22 tried, 22 died. 2 days at the mine, 2 days wandered back, and when he got back to town, unlike other gold miners that barely had enough to make it through the week, that was a hot bath and a feather bed waiting for Jacob at the hotel. You see, it wasn't one weekend for Jacob. He had enough gold on his old fuel pack that for the next 6 to 8 weeks, he lived in hotels. Think of this, smarter than a multi-millionaire today, Jacob only worked 6 to 8 weeks a year living in hotels. And they did that for 15 years, and when he died, he's still pretty smart. Anybody that makes that kind of money, you have to worry about who they're going to leave it to and what they're going to do about it. That old Jacob, he's pretty slick. When he died, he had a gold case he had made out of his gold for his matches to keep them dry. Never had another dollar. Spent everything he had on him and his friends. I guess that's the way to go. But even when he died, he said his gold mine was up there. It was 1891. And all he'd ever tell about his gold mine is that it was a ledge of gold, 18 inches wide, 400 feet long. Now hold that thought. Right about now, from both sides of the train, the caboose and all, as that church starts moving across the mountain there, to me the left side has all the character. Those are great photo opportunities. All these buildings all the way around. To me the green building is the one that's unique for the roof line, not for what it is. You see, that's our local Marcello Museum. And it's a family-friendly museum. All these buildings, like even from here, you can see, get a great shot of that great mammoth head frame, and there's a head frame over our little mine where you guys are going to make a mine tour, some of you. But getting back to Jacob, over here is the big yellow rock. That's called Bulldog Rock. That is the Bulldog Mountain, and at the base of that, the Bulldog Mine. That was our second largest gold producer here. 6,700 ounces of gold came out of there, $10 million today. So what does it have to do with the Dutchman? Everything. Gold mines, fingerprints, no two are alike. That was a ledge of gold, 18 inches wide, 400 feet long. The very same high-grade gold ore Jacob brought to town for 15 years. I know you're still going to hear storytellers, emphasis storytellers, telling about Peralta, Spanish, Apache, Dutchman's gold, Jesuit treasures all up there. Now the Jesuit monks in the mid-1600s raided their missions, took everything of value in the missions from California, Mexico, throughout the Southwest, and they hid it up there in 8 caves to keep the Spaniards from stealing it. That was all recovered 150 years ago. As far as gold up there, well, it never happened, and it never will. 5 volcanoes created that. Geology says there's no mineralization of value up there. So does history. There's never been one documented ounce of gold ever produced up there. Just a lot of old tales, ghost stories. So when you hear them storytellers, remember, they all have to be Irish to not be liars. But they tell their truth with as many colors to fill the back of my big Ford truck and not call it a lie. But you know that there's never going to be any gold found up there. Remember I said Federal Reserve, the Bureau of Land Management takes care of that. And they say the minimum fine for prospecting anywhere on that 160,000 acres starts at $5,000. Didn't happen? Not going to. When I left, I said we are in the Sonoran Living Desert. This is the only one in the world. There are 4 deserts in the Southwest. And no, the Sonora, that Baja Peninsula, that's part of our desert, not the Baja Desert. But this is such a vast desert. Why it's a living desert is we have over 2,000 plants, 1,000 bees to pollinate them, 60 different mammals, and 200 different bird species all here. Some you avoid: Gila monsters, tarantulas, scorpions. Yes, they're poisonous. They aren't deadly. The worst of that's the sting of that scorpion. Well, you probably see them. 90% of the people stung out here, same kind of people. Just about dark, barefoot, flip-flops, and sandals. And we have rattlesnakes. Everybody knows about them. We've only had 3 reported rattlesnake bites in over 2 years. They survived. Now, Texas got a rattlesnake worse than us. See, they have so many wild hogs that developed the taste of rattlesnakes. In many parts of Texas, the rattlesnakes have quit rattling to save their lives. That's a dangerous rattlesnake. But here we lose 6 to 10 people a year. Not the rattlesnake bites, bee stings. Swarms of bees. They're stung 300 to 500 times. You see a swarm of bees, they're after you. Run as fast as you can for about 3 blocks. Don't stop them, start swatting them. About a block and a half, as far as they want to get away from their queen, they'll go back. You may be stung 5 times, you stop and start beating on them, 500 could be the issue, and then you're going to die. Now, some people don't realize, too, that we have 4 super lakes here, 100 very large lakes, and more boats registered in the state of Arizona than any other state. Now, because of all that water, we do flood irrigation, Santan Valley, Casa Grande, places like that. And because of that, we have fresh melons, fruits, vegetables, citrus that's grown year-round here. And then we don't really have one pest here, stable flies. We have horses, we have stable flies. We're about 2 weeks away from having about a total of 100 horses out here. They're going to come up and see some up here as we get there. They're going to have masks on. That's called a fly mask. It's so dry here, the stable flies get in the eyes of the horses and try to take the mucus off the eyes. Now these horses are pretty well put together. They aren't just riding around the pasture. When these cowboys and cowgirls from all over the northern states, even New Mexico, they come here and ride. They leave here, they'll go 25 miles in a day, and they may go another 25 tonight. They get rode pretty much. We have hundreds of miles of trails here. I tell people too, they don't realize we have flowers that bloom year-round here. Did you know we have the rarest cactus in the world? There's only one cactus in the whole world. You know, it's called the fall rusty cactus. You ever see it? It's 120 feet tall. Yeah, it's the top of our skyline zip line. I gotcha. That's the safest in the world. Use a ski lift chair. I love watching the pictures. They put him in a ski lift chair, belt him in so they can't Houdini out, and they take the picture. All your adrenaline junkies are all smiles, and they go all the way up there to 110 feet to stop. They let them zoom back to the station, and just before they get to the station, they realize how fast they're going. They're going to have to stop. Oh, them buggers take their picture again. It's a whole different picture than when they left the station, but check it out. It is exhilarating. I've been on it many times. Usually I take novice, you know, people, gringos up there that never been around it, just so I can hear them scream all the way down. As we're coming to the station, if you're standing up, hey, that's great. Just please hold on until I get totally stopped.